Hi everyone, it's so lovely to be with you again this week. We have lots of exciting things coming up for me to tell you about today. So if you're new to our channel, I pray that you will feel welcomed and encouraged. Feel free to use the comment section for prayer requests, technique advice, or just to say hi. We love speaking to you. I'm really sorry if my voice isn't sounding great today. I'm just getting over a cold and I lost my voice earlier in the week, so you will have to bear with me. We are so encouraged that the channel is growing, and to make life a little bit easier for you, we've decided to send you all of our content in a little neat package. So this means by signing up for our emails, you will receive weekly updates of our Bible studies, including a link to all of our free printables. From now on, you will only be able to download the free printables through the link in the email, so please don't miss out. There is a link in the description below or in the bio of our Instagram accounts. I am Unfiltered Faith, or my Bible journaling bestie is at Doodling Bible. So this week is all about taking notes in church and why Jesus tells us it's so important. So our challenge to you is to get as many of you taking notes this Sunday as possible. Don't forget to tag us on Instagram using the hashtag DoodlingFaith. We really love to see what you guys get up to. So for my sermon notes, I use a normal A5 lined notebook that I've cut down to be a third of an A4 size to fit in my traveller's notebook. Because they're pretty thin pages, I like to stick two together so that they hold paint and watercolours better and the pen doesn't bleed through. I've been taking notes in church for a couple of years now, but only since last October have I really started actually taking my Bible journaling stuff to church. I pack all of my goodies into a handbag organiser that I got from Primark, because then I can just change it between bags and it's easier and everything is in one place if I want to take it on holiday or to conference or to midweek meetings. It also stops me taking too much, which really the key here is planning and knowing your supplies. So if our pastor is in the middle of a series, I usually pull out supplies that I think fit, but I usually carry a small selection of most things anyway. A few journaling cards, stamps, a little mini ink pad, some cheap acrylic paints. Post-it notes really are a must, I think. A selection of alpha stickers, some double-sided tape, which I also think is a must. Pens, a stapler, washi, and some watercolour crayons. But you have to remember, pack light. Only take the colours and supplies that fit with what you're doing. I'm just showing you some stuff to give you ideas. I don't take all of this to church on a Sunday. So I'll usually prepare my pages in advance, or I'm blessed to be in our worship team and there is a gap between our morning worship practice and when church starts, so sometimes I'll do it then. But why not be intentional? Get to church early, spend some time asking God about the sermon and praying for your pastor, and prep your page then. It is completely up to you what you do here. The key is to get some basic colour or patterns down that you want to look at. It might be relevant, it might not be, but if you remember the sermon, then really who cares? I tend to use either watercolours or the credit card technique with acrylics. At the moment, I am loving these little green stripes. This doesn't need to be the finished thing, remember. Just a background. We're going to write the important stuff on top anyway later. Now, I love listening to sermons during the week when I get the time, and I'm so blessed by Elevation Church's sermons, so I'm going to show you how to take notes in real time. I know there's often not a lot of room, so I'm going to do it on my lap and show you how I do it. Now, every pastor always uses the beginning time to say hi, make some kind of cheesy pastor joke, outline what they're doing. I mean, I swear there is a pastor joke book at Bible school. So I tend to use this time to get myself organised, and that really is the key for Bible journaling in church. I put my alpha stickers underneath my notebook, I grab some washi if I fancy, I stick my pen in my hair, and I usually remind my husband to remember the actual verse if they say it too quickly. So, by the way, if you're a pastor and you're watching, please help us word nerds like a repetition of the reference for each verse. My brain can only hold so much, so if you can just say, we're speaking in Matthew 13, read it and then repeat Matthew 13, that would be absolutely great. While I journal, I wanted to outline what Jesus tells us about listening to sermons in church. So you can watch along, and I'm just going to give you some Bible references for why it's so important that we do this. In Matthew 13, verses 1 to 35, we see Jesus speaking to a crowd gathered on a beach. And in the message, it says that he used the boat as a pulpit and addressed his congregation telling stories. That is the exact context of our Sunday morning sermons. He tells a story about 4 seeds. Some fell on the road and they were eaten. Some in the gravel and they grew but didn't take root. Some fell into weeds, and only some fell on good earth and produced a harvest beyond the farmer's wildest dreams. Did you know that God has got a word for you that is delivered every single week that will produce a harvest beyond even our pastor's wildest dreams? But most of the time, we never see that harvest. Why? Well, Jesus asks us, are you listening? Are you really listening? Jesus explains the parable as readiness. He says that whenever our hearts are ready for God's word, then we will grow and there will be a huge harvest. But if we aren't ready, any trace of receptivity will soon disappear. I don't know about you, but there have been more times than I would like to admit that I have closed in prayer at the end of a service and can't remember what the pastor just said, let alone remember enough to apply it to my week, my month, or even my year. Now, that is no reflection of our pastor, who is awesome by the way, but the readiness of my heart. I can listen till I'm blue in the face, but I won't get it. I won't receive that word. Jesus says that we act as though we're sticking our fingers in our ears when we aren't intentional with our listening, and actually the purpose of his word is to heal us. Now, I don't want the devil to pluck that word from me, or to respond to a word from God out of emotion on a Sunday, but when life gets tough on a Monday, it all goes completely out the window. I don't want worry and doubt and fear to strangle what I heard. I want a harvest beyond my wildest dreams. And guys, I want that for you too. So, this week's sermon might not be relevant for you at all. What then? Well, Jesus also tells us that God's word is like a pine nut, quite small, but in the course of years it grows into a huge pine tree and eagles build nests in it. Yes, it might not be relevant to you for now, but it more than likely will be in 1 year or 5 years or 10 years. And if you have it to look back on, then others will be able to build their nest in the harvest of your life. That means that you will be able to grow, shelter, encourage, and strengthen others from what you learned. So I'm just going to pray. Lord, give us a readiness to receive your word with open ears and open eyes. Help us to cherish the words that you are speaking through our pastors and be intentional in our remembrance of them. We know that you work all things together for the good of those who love you. So help each person listening be encouraged to document your word in their lives so that you can use it. Amen. Guys, thanks for listening. I pray that you were so blessed by this word, and don't forget our challenge to you: take some notes this Sunday, tag us on Instagram using the hashtag Doodling Faith, and don't forget to sign up for this week's printable, which is all about sermon notes, and it's lovely and black and white so anyone can use it anywhere. God bless. Take care.